Hello, boys and girls. So I'm just going to go over the drawing conclusions video that or PowerPoint that we're going to work on in class. And so basically, drawing a conclusion means that you are going to draw a conclusion from a selection. And when you do that, you're going to look for supporting details that combined with details that you already know. So one of the sentence frames that we work with is we might say something like, I conclude that dot 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 because the paragraph said dot 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 and I already know dot dot dot. So let's go ahead and put this in context so you can get an idea of what I mean. So we're going to be working with this particular text. It's a small text. So basically, this is drawing a conclusion. So the text says, if you held a tooth from a shark that lived 5 million years ago, it would cover nearly all your hand. So look at your hand right now and look at how big that shark tooth would be. Now, if you held a tooth from a modern great white shark, it would fit in the palm of your hand. So about half the size smaller, maybe. So why do you think that the shark's tooth was so much larger than a modern shark's tooth? Well, let's think about this. So the text doesn't tell me why, but I'm going to have to inference this. So this is what's drawing a conclusion. I'm going to figure out maybe why this could be with some of the details that was in the story, and then I'm going to match it up with other things that I know. So I'm going to start with, well, what do I know from the actual selection? Well, I know that older sharks' teeth cover my entire hand, and a modern shark, its tooth is going to fit in the palm of my hand. Now, that's information that I know from the text. But I'm going to think of myself and I'm going to think for myself and I'm going to think, well, what do I know about like teeth and the size of teeth and what that has to do with this? So when I'm thinking, well, what do I know from my own life and how does this relate to the selection? I'm going to think, well, smaller animals have smaller teeth. And that to me makes sense. Um, a mouse is going to have a much smaller teeth than humans. Humans are going to have much smaller teeth than a tiger. And so we find that in most of the cases, the smaller the animal, the smaller the teeth is. So my conclusion is going to be, and this is the last part, that I'm going to say, well, that older sharks had bigger teeth because they were larger animals. And that makes sense to me. So this is kind of what the whole idea with drawing a conclusion is. So now I'm going to have you guys try it. So when we talk about drawing a conclusion, this is going to be a story that I wrote about Summer's brother. So Summer's 3-year-old brother Xander got a set of watercolor paints. They were a birthday present. Xander had a lot of fun painting in his room. Then Xander heard his mother coming up the steps. He hid under his bed. Xander's mother screamed, "What happened to these walls?" So, what happened to the walls? Well, we're going to say that, first of all, what do I know from the selection? Well, I know Xander's 3, and I know he has paint in his room. I know that when his mother came up the stairs, he hid under his bed, and then his mother was screaming, asking what happened to the walls. Well, what do I know in my own life? Well, I know that probably 3-year-olds should not be left alone with paint. I know the 3-year-olds tend to paint on things, and I tend to know when they do that parents get very upset. So I'm going to draw a conclusion. I'm going to say that Xander probably painted on the walls. And yes, his mother was very upset. And all my students ask me, no, not a true story. I would never leave my child alone with paint. All right, so here's another one, drawing a conclusion. So this is Samson. So Samson liked to lie on a windowsill. He especially likes to lie there on a sunny day. The sun felt good on his body. But if Samson saw a mouse, he would move like lightning. He would chase down the mouse like a mighty hunter. Is Samson a person? If not, what is he? So try it on your own. What do you know about this election? What do you know from your own life that helps you relate to this story? And take the two. You're taking information from the selection, you're taking information, your background knowledge, which is called your schema, and you're putting them together in order to draw your own conclusion about what is Samson. So I'm sure you're going to get it. All right, I hope you had fun, boys and girls.